Hello and welcome. Sorry I'm a little late. I thought I was going live, and that's the whole point of live. There was some technical stuff with YouTube, but I'm here now. I will be looking around now and again. Again, I apologize that I'm a bit late. So what are we talking today? What are we talking about today? Today is basically, I want to talk about macOS Catalina and why we should wait to upgrade. I don't use beta software, so I haven't installed Catalina on my computer. And there's various reasons why I don't use beta software. But the whole point of today is trying to figure out whether you should upgrade now or wait a short while. The thing is, Apple come out with operating systems every year. And every time they come out with an operating system, what tends to happen is that I get a lot of work, which is great, don't get me wrong, but your machine basically sometimes cannot handle the upgrade. Now there's several reasons. One, because your machine is too old, but the main reason is, and this is what I explain to my clients when they come in and say my computer is running slow, more often than not, it's because of an update or an upgrade. Not an update, sorry, an upgrade. An upgrade is the main yearly updates that Apple do, upgrades that Apple do. The updates are the updates that come in throughout the year. Those little updates are fine generally. Touch wood, haven't had a major issue with those things. But the upgrades, the major issues like going from leopard to snow leopard and whatever, they're the ones that you have to keep an eye out for, because how I usually explain it to clients who come in with their slow computers is that if you have a car and you take it to a garage every year, they generally change the oil. They don't just add oil. If you've got a good good garage, they should change the oil, the filter and stuff, right? With operating systems and computers, it's basically the same thing. The oil, as it were, is the operating system. So if you're just updating it, you're just adding to the issue that you probably already had, but hasn't manifested. And as soon as you upgrade, so or update the operating system rather than doing a clean install upgrade, you're just adding fuel to the fire, you're adding old oil. So then the computer basically runs slower. And that's basically the point. So the best thing usually is to do a clean install. I do a clean install pretty much every year, and there's a few clients of mine that come to me every year and I do a clean install for them because their computer is, their livelihood. I mean, it's basically, our computers, we need them to work all the time. You wouldn't believe the amount of people I have here that, their computers die, if something happens, it breaks, whatever, but they are using their computers in mission critical circumstances, i.e. their work. They need to work. We can't be without our machines for more than a day or a few hours even. So more often than not, I'm doing stuff really quickly to get it back to the client as soon as possible. It's not always possible depending on the issue, but so we need our computers all the time. So having a computer that isn't working isn't good for us, isn't good for anybody. So going back to Catalina, the point with Catalina is it's a great, and we're going to go through it actually a little while. It's a great piece of software. We're going to go through some of the features on it. Some of them I actually don't know. And we're going to go through, actually first we're going to go through the computers that can be upgraded, because again, every year when Apple comes out with a new computer, a new operating system, there are older computers that the software just simply won't work on. And the other main criteria for this update are two things. One is the change of the architecture of the system. Well, it's actually one thing. no, two things. The main architecture, which is basically going away from 32-bit architecture to only 64-bit. And this is a big issue, mainly for music studios. My background is music studios and stuff, and they use a lot of plugins and specialist software, and a lot of those pieces of software don't always upgrade quickly. They take their time, so you might not have to, you might not, it's best not actually to upgrade. However, the other piece is the security part of it. They're kind of really honing down on the security on the operating system now. It's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a great thing for security, but it's an insanely annoying thing for developers to create software. I don't know where it's going to go down the road. We're just touching on that. We're not going to go into that too much. So what I'm going to do is go over to my Mac. Let me go there. There you go. Gonna go over to my Mac, and there is a, hopefully you can see this because I can't see the screen now. So this is a list of what you need, what computer you need to run Catalina. So I'm not going to read out every single one, but the main ones are the MacBook, MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, well actually all of them, MacBook Mini and so on. So it's the year that's important here. So you got to be careful when you're upgrading. You need to know, I mean obviously it won't update anyway or upgrade anyway, but you have to have it looks like 2012 and later to do this. So we have a question, Laura. Hey Laura, so well, this is the thing. Let me change this so you can actually see it. I'm sorry about this. Here we go. Sorry, just give me a second so I can get this so you guys can see it. Save. All right, this is a question from Laura. Is my Mac too old for Catalina? Well, this is basically what we're talking about. It depends on the year of your MacBook, and I think you have a MacBook Pro 15-inch from what I remember, Laura. And I think, is it a 2011 or 2012? I'm not too sure, so you've got to check it. The best way to check it is if you go to the Apple in the top left. If you basically go to the Apple in the top left, is it top left, this side of your thing, and go down to About This Mac. And it should tell you what computer you have, what year it is, and that will be able to give you some information. It's, okay, 2010. Then unfortunately that's not going to work. So it's probably best that you now upgrade. I mean, 2010 machine, it's a great machine with a CD drive, and I think you have the 15-inch, so you have a really nice screen and stuff. But yeah, you may well have to upgrade now, upgrade your machine, because I mean, I generally tell people to upgrade their machines every 5 years, 5 to 6 years, 4, 5, 6 years. 5 years is kind of the average. So if you have an older machine, it's probably best to upgrade it. Yes, exactly. I did renew it. That was a few years ago. So yeah, going back to what I said, it's best probably you buy a new machine. If nothing is going on with your computer and everything is working fine, then obviously you don't need to upgrade to Catalina if you don't want the new features. And B, there's no reason for you to upgrade if everything is working fine. But if it isn't and you feel like, okay, well, maybe I should get a new machine, time to get a new machine. Anyway, moving on. So these are the machines that you can run Catalina on. So let's go back to the top of the page, and it's a massive page. So I'm going to go through it very quickly. It talks about the power of your machine, of the experience of Catalina. So this is the other thing. So iTunes is going away. There's no more iTunes. What they have, I think they have Apple TV now. They have Apple Music. You can see it's the iTunes logo, but I think it's the new Mac. Sorry, the Mac app. Yeah, Apple Music for Mac. There you go. Apple TV. You have now Apple TV on your computer, which is actually really, really nice because Apple TV is pretty cool to have if you're in that ecosystem. You have a separate podcasts app, which is actually quite nice because podcasts are being used by a lot of people and companies now. Yeah, this is the other big feature. You can use iPad apps on your Mac. Now, I don't think there are a lot of developers who have created this right now. There are obviously some like Twitter and so on. There's a list here, so I'll put this link in the chat here so you guys can go and check it out. And I'll put that here too. So that's actually a really nice feature. I don't know how feature rich, I can't even talk right now, it's going to be, but there you go. And all the apps are being updated, like the photo apps and everything. Your library will go over. If you update your library and everything will go over. So touch wood, you shouldn't have any issues. There are sometimes, I find people call me and say they are having issues, but generally if you update all the databases, your photos, your contacts or your emails should basically move over. So there's a new Photos app. The Notes app actually has a big update as well. I used to use Notes. I do use it now and again, but because I use G Suite, I actually use Google Keep. But the Google Notes app looks really, really cool, and I might revisit that actually. That's pretty cool. Again, the Reminders app is getting lots of new features and so on, so that's really interesting. Obviously, Safari is going to be updated to be a bit faster and so on. Apple Arcade, if you're into gaming on your computer. I'm not. I actually have an Xbox that I game with, so that's pretty cool. This is another great feature. So if you have an iPad, you can connect it via the normal cable and actually use it as a secondary screen for your laptop. So if you only have a 13-inch laptop and you think, oh, I wish I bought a 15-inch, well, if you have an iPad that works, with they call it Sidecar. With Sidecar, you can actually attach it as a secondary screen to use with your Mac, which is really cool for remote workers if you carry a laptop and an iPad. You know, some people obviously don't. Another big feature, so again with the iPad, you can use the Apple Pencil with certain programs. Affinity Photo is a program, if you're a designer, have a look at. A lot of people who aren't actually designers, but they use Photoshop, like, I don't want to spend money on Photoshop, I basically move them over to Affinity Photo. But that has the ability to use your iPad, and you can draw pretty much on your screen, but on the iPad. So it actually works really, really nicely. I've seen that happen. Someone's used that. Again, talking about using the Apple Pencil with the apps. Screen time. Okay, like on the iPhone, you have a feature called Screen Time where it shows you what apps you're using. It's kind of like a productivity thing, so you're not picking up your phone all the time. Well, that's basically moved over to the Mac as well, which is really interesting. So you can see how much time you're spending on work or social media and stuff that you shouldn't be doing. Communication limits, choose who you can communicate with. So if you have children in the house and they're on the same iCloud account, you can actually set limits with them. This is obviously talking about more more of that as well. Increase security, here it is. So the security is enhanced. And again, I'm not going to delve too deeply into that. I'm going to look into it once I've upgraded mine, which I'm going to do this weekend for myself, and I'll probably do another live stream going through that. Yeah, security is going to be an issue for developers and probably for people like me who help others with their computers, what we can and can't do with your Mac, in fact, because it is, after all, your Mac, and it's supposed to be secure. And the first thing I say is make sure you put File Vault on and secure your machine, especially for GDPR. Find My Mac has been updated, which is actually a much nicer interface, which is actually pretty cool. If you have an Apple Watch, you can approve logging in to your machine with your, I think you could also already do that. I'm not sure if you could do that because I don't have an Apple Watch. I prefer analog watches. I'm a digital guy, but tech minimalism, I don't need an Apple Watch. Okay, access to all your devices includes features to help everyone to get most out of them out. Voice control. Okay, so this is for accessibility. For people who need it. Let me just have a look if we need to go through that right now. Now, I think this is probably a topic for another video, but basically it's enhanced the accessibility of the macOS, which is always good. Voice control, which is, I don't use voice control. I have a couple of clients who are unfortunately bedridden. One's a DJ, he's an amazing guy. And he uses voice control quite a lot. So having an enhancement, I'll probably be speaking with him about how good this will be for him actually. Zooming display and hovering text, again, this is for accessibility, which is really cool. And that's basically it for now. I've gone through it very quickly because I didn't want this to go into a massive video, massive live stream. And again, we're back to here. Let's see if we have any other questions. Let me take this off here. So again, this is Catalina. If you've got a newer Mac, I would say probably from 2000. I mean, although this says 2012, it will work and that there will be no issues. But I think 2014 machines, probably 15 machines are probably the best machines to get the full use out of Catalina. I've always found like a year or two older machines, for the MacBook Pros and the Airs, by the way. The MacBooks, the old MacBooks, obviously they stopped making MacBooks a long time ago and they started making MacBooks again, which they're not selling anymore. I don't like the way that Apple have done these things. I just wish it would just MacBook and a MacBook Pro, an iMac and a Mac Pro. Why? I don't understand this. But anyway, topic for another video. So I hope that's been handy for you. This just was a quick run through of what Catalina could do. Again, the point of moving over your operating system, sorry, let me get rid of this. The point of moving over your operating system is to get new features. The problem is that not all Macs will allow you to upgrade. And if you've got a slightly older machine, 2012, so on, you might be running an old operating system. And what I would say is do a clean install. If you need help with that, obviously contact me. But clean install basically means copying your data, backing everything up, wiping the hard drive, installing the brand new operating system, and then copying the data back. Now, it's a long, laborious process, but it's the best way to do it, because if you just update, you're going to go crazy. But what I would say, and this is weird for me to say it, is update anyway, because it may not happen. I mean, 9 times out of 10, it just won't happen. It'll be fine, or 8 times out of 10. But if you do upgrade and you find that the computer is running really, really slow, and you have a 2012 upwards or 2013 upwards, then you might have to do a clean install. Anyway, that's basically it for today. My name is Kay. If you need any help, by all means, book an introductory call. Give me a call and let's go through it. You can also, oh, I don't have that. Well, just book a call. Just go to my website and contact me through there, and hopefully we can help. Do we have any other questions while we're here before we finish off today? Laura, did that help you actually? Sorry you have a 2010. Yeah, it's unfortunate that Apple does this, but it's not Apple doing this. It's more to do with what the hardware is capable of. So they make software that needs better hardware. And obviously if you have older hardware, I mean 2010, that's 9 years old. That's quite, nowadays it's very old for a machine. However it works, I mean my machine is 2013. So mine is just in. So I need to upgrade. I know I need to upgrade, but it's working fine and I don't need to upgrade my hardware because everything is fine. That's why I don't do it. But next year, I probably have to upgrade this coming year. So anyway, that's the video. So the topic was macOS Catalina. Should I upgrade or wait a little? If you have any questions about that, by all means, contact me. And this is my website. Hopefully that was helpful. And I'll see you next week. See you later. Ciao.